I want to talk about space because that's a really good question that someone asked me, because they were like, they sent me a question in, and apologies for not remembering who asked me that, but somebody asked me that. I don't have the list in front of me. I can get it in front of me. There we go. Lena asked me the question. Would like to hear more on what you mean by space. I heard you say it the other day with Ian, the other week, she should say. Yeah, the other week. And it's a form of self-love. I don't recall hearing it that way before. Okay, so good question from Lena. So yeah, look, it's an interesting one, because when I first heard the word space, it was interesting, because I think I probably, the first time I heard someone say to me, and it's someone in my family, my mother, said to me, you know, you just don't have enough space in here. And I was just like, what does that mean? What does it mean to not have enough space? So, you know, it's something that I really pondered on, and you know, let's see what comes up. I mean, for me, today, I'm just introducing to you the first time I heard that word and it being used that way. You know, you don't have space, you lack space. And then I thought to myself, anyway, today space is everything for me. You know, we don't lack possibilities, we lack space. We don't lack love, we lack space. We don't lack opportunities, we lack space. We don't lack creativity, we lack space. It's all got to do with space. So it's a very important conversation to have. Space is it's awareness. You know, I'm trying to find the simplest box to put it in for you without trying to label it and limit it to that box. But it is a state of awareness. You could be sitting here right now and you could have no awareness. I mean, when I say no awareness, your awareness is limited to what you're seeing through your 5 human senses. So what you're seeing with your eyes, what you're hearing, the sounds you're hearing, what you're smelling, maybe what you're tasting, and what you're physically touching. But we have our 6th sense as well. Okay, it's something that is beyond our 5 human senses. And within our 6th sense, we can expand our awareness into, let's just say, our surroundings. And so when you have a level of awareness, if your awareness is not limited to your 5 human senses, you're showing up. You're still using your 5 human senses, but there's another part of you that is showing up, and it witnesses and it observes everything that is going on. You will have experienced this in your own life when you've been in the flow. For those who are creative, for those who are athletic, you will know what I mean by being in the flow. And it's not just limited to someone who's being creative or someone who's athletic. It comes into so many different ways. You know, someone who's acting, someone who's singing, someone who's making love. Like you get into this flow where time disappears or becomes less relevant. When you're doing what it is that you love to do, time seems to become less relevant, right? And your thinking aligns up with what you're doing, what you're acting, what you're saying, what you're expressing, what you're sharing, what you're giving. However it is moving through you, it moves into alignment. So you're not thinking, you're not having your typical thinking where you're thinking about what do I want to say next, or what do these people think of me. You're not having that continual noise in your head, because your thoughts and your feelings and your actions all align and move as one. So it's a very different feeling, and you only know you've been in that feeling or you've been in that flow the moment you fall out of the flow. You realize, wow, where was I? What was I saying? Right? Now, what I'm trying to give to you there is a reference point for yourself to understand that you know what awareness is. Awareness, when you're in that flow, there is a space, there is an awareness that is observing, that is witnessing the very thing that you are expressing, the very thing that you are experiencing. Okay, that there, my friends, is space. That is space. When you start to witness, or when you start to expand your awareness, when you feel your awareness, right, you are feeling your space, right? So what happens, and the question from Lena was about, well, I've never heard it explained that way, when your space is love. Because when you lack space, you lack the ability to love. When you lack space, you lack the ability to receive love. It all becomes limited. And sometimes when you lack space, and since we're talking about relationship, or we're just referring to a relationship here, sometimes what you do, you even in a relationship, it could be a romantic relationship, or it could be a friendship, you would say, hey, you know what, I just need some space right now. You know, I need some space. What are you saying? So it's not, you use it in your language, but you're just not aware of that you're using that in your language. When you're saying, I need space, you know, and what do? You got to ask yourself this question. When you say to someone, I need space, what do you do to go find space? Right? I mean, immediately, think about it. You withdraw from the situation, you withdraw from the circumstances that was consuming space from you. So whether that was an individual or your circumstances that is just eating you up and it's consuming space, and you go, I just need some space. You first withdraw from the place, or from the circumstances, or from the person that was consuming space, and then you go and sit by yourself. Do you not? Do you not do that? Yes, you do. That's exactly what you do. You sit by yourself to be able to find your space. So the space is something that you find within yourself. It's something that you experience for yourself. You then bring that space into the relationship. You then bring that space into your business. You then bring that space into the flow. Okay? So, this is, it's something that you need to ponder on yourself and go, yeah, well, that's true. Well, why do I say I need some space? So space is everything to do with everything. Your space is your power. You know, some people you would perceive that would have money, or you perceive that would have power, but they lack the ability to actually experience it for themselves. They can beat their chest in the story. They can beat their chest, and you can see that through your 5 human senses, but they don't feel the power. They only feel the power because by beating the chest, people think, wow, they're powerful. By flashing their cash, people will say, wow, they're wealthy. Right? But they don't feel the wealth because they lack space. And of course, if they don't lack space, then of course they feel the wealth. But normally when someone feels the wealth, doesn't need to throw the cash to go, hey, look how much money I'm making. Usually when someone is powerful, they don't need to kind of beat their chest and go, look how powerful I am. Did you see how I don't care? Did you see how, I speak my mind? Did you see how I, and they do that for others. Right? Usually that individual lacks space, right? And again, the question I asked you is, when you say you want more space, where do you find it? You find it in a quiet time. You find it in a quiet moment. You find it in the present moment, when you are alone. Alone, something that so many people avoid. They avoid this moment because they think that they find boredom. No. You are bringing yourself to this moment through your 5 human senses. You need to bring yourself back and witness this moment through your 6th sense. Because there's no such thing as boredom in the present moment. You're only experiencing that through your human senses. You're like, there's nothing to do, I'm fucking bored. Right? No, you need to step back and allow yourself to be in the now. There is no such thing as this boredom. In the moment there is joy. In the moment there is, guess what? Space. Space is freedom. Freedom for what? Freedom to be the person that you came here to be the person, do the things that you came here to do. Everything is about space. I cannot talk enough about space. In fact, one of my programs, it's in my 3-month coaching program, OMG, Oneness Mentoring Group, right? This is something that you'll find on my website if it's somewhere down the track you want to do. This program, over 3 months, I cover 12 different topics. And I'll tell you something right now. I talk 12 different ways about you finding space. I speak about love, and then you go, oh, it was about space. I speak about wealth. You're like, oh, that was about space. I speak about reclaiming your power. You're like, oh, I'm reclaiming my space. You know, I speak about manifestation. You're like, oh, I need more space. I don't lack manifestation. My ability to manifest is not lacking. It's my ability to notice the space that I have. And I'll teach you guys a little secret right here, right? In that very program, one of the things that you realize is that you don't actually expand your space. And that's what you think you do. When people start this journey, they start to feel more and more connected. They start to notice what I'm talking about when I'm saying you're expanding your space, right? And they can feel their expandedness. They think, wow, I'm so different to last time. You know, 6 months ago, I feel more space right now. And through more space, they'll say, I feel free to be myself. I feel happy. I feel happy. Like and my happiness is not determined by what is happening in my story. My happiness is because of me being myself, because of me being in my space. It all has to do with space. What I was saying there, just for a second, when I just needed to take a moment, is that what you realize as you continue to expand your space, you will one day realize that it wasn't you expanding your space, because who you truly are in this moment right now is infinite. Who you truly are is expanded. You didn't come here to expand your space. You came here to become aware of your expandedness. What's happening as you're supposedly growing, or as you're expanding, as you're becoming more conscious, as you're becoming more wise, what's actually happening is you're becoming aware of a part of yourself that you were not aware of before. And when you're becoming aware of that part of yourself, you're becoming aware of your expandedness. So your awareness is expanding, and you're becoming aware of more of who you are. You're becoming aware of more love. You're becoming more aware of more power. Right? You're becoming aware of more creativities. You're becoming aware of more possibilities. But those possibilities didn't grow. The love didn't grow. The possibilities have always been there. The love has always been there. You're just becoming aware of what's already been there. You're becoming aware of your expandedness. So the truth is, and this is one of the things that people experience when they do that OMG program, they realize, oh, I'm not expanding. I'm becoming aware of my expandedness. You've always been infinite. You're only pretending to be limited. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process. Don't get me wrong. We don't want to necessarily change that. But what you want to do is you want to allow your awareness to go where it wants to go. Your awareness, if the more you are in the present moment, the more you have the ability to stay in the now. And that's why, most teachers will always continue to say, including myself, will continue to say to always do what you love. Because when you are doing what you love, you are staying in the present moment. One of the questions that I continuously get asked is, but how do I can feel what you're saying, I can connect to this place, but how do I stay here? I then have to go back into my reality, or they call it their everyday life. And I was like, what's the difference between the everyday life and you being here? They go, well, the everyday life is, and everyone will have something different. Now, the everyday life, you then change yourself in who you need to be in order to make money, in order to get recognition, in order to get acceptance, in order to find security, in order for people to approve of you. Of course, the moment you change yourself, you can't stay as who you are as love. Because when you are in the now, you're feeling that love, you're feeling that possibility. So how do you then stay with that? How do you then bring that feeling? How do you then stay in the moment, in the everyday life? Do what you love. Do what you love. Now, this is not new. Right? And then so many people will say to me, oh yes, I totally agree, Amir. You got to do what you love. And that's what I'm doing. I'm working on a plan for me to be able to one day do what I love. I am working on the means to the end, and the end is doing what I love doing what I love to do, but I'm working on the means. No. Do what you love now. I don't know how else to vibrate that through you. Now. Not, I'm working hard, I'm putting all my blood and sweat and tears into this so I can one day have what I love. You see, the reason why people think to themselves, do what I love now, I can't do that. Why? Are you misinterpreting what I'm saying? I say, do what you love, you're interpreting, do what you love for money. That's why people have this blockage. I can't do it now. I don't have the money. I don't have the skills. I don't have the contact. Hey, nobody said do what you love for exists for your survival. Nobody said do what you love. And that's why the next question people always ask me is like, how can I do what I love and make money out of it? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I make money out of what I do. Whether I'm flying aircraft, I'm helping people soar through their minds. To expand their possibilities. I make money out of it. But my attention is not driven from there. That's not why I do it. I do it because when I'm doing it, I'm being myself, my complete self, my most authentic self in this moment. I am free right now to soar. I am free to be myself. That's why I do it. Right? Does money flow from that? Yes. But my attention is not, well, how much money did I make from? I'm doing a talk to you right now. I'm not measuring what happens from this right now. That's why people lose it. That's why it is misinterpreted. I mean, many teachers have continued saying that, the greatest advice, it's not even just teachers, right? The greatest advice that is ever given and that will continue to be given. If you can just contemplate this advice for a second. The greatest advice, if someone truly cares for you, or if there's someone that you truly care about, you tend to give this advice to them. But this advice, although it is the greatest advice given, it is the greatest advice least taken. Because most people don't know how. Because most people go, but how do I make money out of it? Or how can I get acceptance from it? So what that advice is to do what you love, or do what makes you happy, right? Do what you love and be yourself. But why is it so difficult to do what you love? Well, because I'm putting all my blood, sweat and tears into doing it so I can one day have... No. Do it now. Take the question out. And how can I make money out of it? Take that question out. Hey, doing what you love could be, hey, having children. How are you going to make money out of your children? That's an incorrect question to ask. I love to have a family. Oh, how can I make money out of it? I can't have a family until I realize how I can make money out of it. It's what you love. You love to have children. You love to have a family. Do you see how the question of, but how do I make money out of it, it's just irrelevant when it comes to doing what you love. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, I'm making it very clear here. I'm not saying do it for free. I'm just saying don't make your drive around the money. The question is, how do I make money out of it? It disconnects you from what it is that you love. And, I said do what you love or what makes you happy, right? Or what's the next one? Be yourself. But if you had the ability to find yourself in this moment, find the joy right here, and take that joy and bring it into your story, your everyday life, you are in the flow. Everything becomes effortless. But why people don't have that ability is because they then say, well, I'm being myself. But if you're being yourself to gain acceptance, I'm being myself because if I be this way, if I say this, if I do that, then I'll get greater conversions and therefore I'll get greater money. You're not being yourself, buddy. That's not you. That is an agenda. That is a false you. You're doing that to attain security. You're doing that to attain money. You're doing that to get people's recognition. You're doing that to get people to approve of you. That's not you. That is a version of you. It is the false you. So then people say, but how do I take this in my everyday living? How can I be this in my story? Be yourself and just do what you love. Doesn't change. The truth is simple. We just complicate it by bringing our agendas into it, and we complicate it by overthinking it. It's simple. It's always been simple. Be yourself. Do what you love. Space. It's all space. And it's not the money you lack. It's not the love that you lack. It's not the possibilities that you lack. It's not the joy that you lack. It's not the creativity that you lack. You lack space. Where do you find space? I'm just reminding you again, where do you go when you lack space? When you say, hey, you know what, I just need some space. You go and sit by yourself. So where do you find space? When you're by yourself. Okay? It's not limited to that, but if you're lacking it, that's where you find it. You need to sit by yourself. Where are you sitting? In the moment. In the now. And then suddenly you feel space. And then what happens is you start to feel space, you start to feel the possibilities, you start to feel alive again. And then you go, great, how do I make money out of this? Oh. Great, how can I get more people to love me now and accept me? Oh, you lost it again. So I hope that answers the question from Lena. Thank you for the question about space.